Robyn Harding's Strangers in the Villa is a psychological thriller that explores betrayal, obsession, and the dangers of misplaced trust. Known for her sharp domestic suspense novels, The Drowning Woman, The Party, Harding sets this new story in the sun-drenched yet shadowy Costa Brava of Spain. The novel begins with Sydney Lowe, a woman whose life in New York collapses when her husband Curtis admits to a meaningless affair with a client. Devastated but unwilling to give up on her marriage, Sydney agrees to Curtis's plan to relocate to Spain. Their hope is that a fresh start in a luxurious villa overlooking the Mediterranean will help them rebuild their relationship. At first, the villa seems idyllic, sunlit terraces, olive groves, and the promise of renewal. But the isolation also magnifies their unresolved tensions. Sydney struggles with lingering resentment, while Curtis insists that the past must be forgotten. Into this fragile balance arrive two strangers, visitors who claim to be fellow travelers but quickly overstay their welcome. The strangers' charm soon turns unsettling. They insinuate themselves into Sydney and Curtis's lives, blurring boundaries and testing loyalties. What begins as casual hospitality spirals into manipulation, secrecy, and danger. Sydney senses that their guests have hidden motives, but Curtis dismisses her concerns, desperate to maintain peace. Thematically, Strangers in the Villa explores infidelity and trust, the fragility of marriage after betrayal, hospitality versus intrusion, how generosity can be exploited by those with darker intentions, isolation and paranoia, the villa's beauty becomes a trap, magnifying fear and suspicion. Harding's prose balances lush descriptions of the Spanish coast with taut psychological suspense. The villa itself becomes a character, its grandeur masking menace, its walls holding secrets. The narrative builds tension through shifting perspectives, unreliable truths, and escalating confrontations. Supporting characters include locals who warn Sydney about the dangers of outsiders, and Curtis's business associates who complicate their attempt at a fresh start. Yet the focus remains on the claustrophobic dynamic between the couple and their unwelcome guests. The climax erupts when Sydney uncovers the stranger's true intentions. Betrayal, obsession, and violence converge in a shocking confrontation that forces Sydney to fight not only for her marriage, but for her survival. The resolution is chilling, leaving readers questioning the nature of trust and the cost of second chances. As a forthcoming release, Strangers in the Villa promises to deliver Harding's trademark blend of domestic drama and psychological suspense, appealing to fans of Jewell, Shari, Lapena, and Ruth Ware.